Hey everyone, all right, I want to do a snowboard length video, okay? I've seen some videos out there about snowboard length and I don't like them, so we are going to go through parts of this, right? The first part is who you are, and we're going to break that up into kids, women, and men. And then what type of snowboarding you want to do. Okay, so as you can see, we have a whole line of snowboards behind me that I own, right? This doesn't make me a professional snowboarder in any sense. I've just been snowboarding for years and I have kids and a wife, and so I can go through all of it. Let's start with the kids, right? Kids, you're gonna want a 125 centimeter board, right? A small, this is a rocker, where you step on the end of it, the other end goes up. Very easy for them to learn on. The 125, I'd say there's 100, Burton makes an 100 one. Other brand distributors make 100 centimeter boards, but 125 is a good size for them. My daughter's 75 pounds, my son is 100 pounds, and they started when they were 6 and now they're 8 and 10. They were 6 and 8, and they've got adjusted these boards with the Burton bindings. Burton makes a good quality. They haven't dinged them, but you know, they've been pretty rough on them, dropping them, not caring too much as I wish they would. But for a beginner snowboarder at a young age, I recommend 100 or 125. I wouldn't go over 130. I want to make sure. Yeah, I believe this is it doesn't say anything of what size this is on it, but it's either 125 or 130 centimeter. I would not go over that size for a child learning. Now that being said, we'll move up to a beginner snowboarder if you're a female or smaller male, right? The 139 to 149 range, 149 being the max if you were like under 150 pounds, right? Now that being said, I'm going to go into a part of this video which talks about how I don't like the weight charts. I don't fit in the weight charts. They don't work for me. They don't work for my boot size. They don't work for my riding style. So we will later go into weight and how that works. So this is like a 139, 149. You can see the difference in heights. You can also see this is a 151. Then we move down 154 and 157, right? So we have several different board types. If you're starting, I would stay under 149 depending on your weight. Now, there's demo days at each hill usually. If you're just starting, go out to a demo day and try the board. If you're riding powder, of course they recommend a longer board like a 157 up to 165 because it'll handle in powder or carving better. And there's videos out there on those. This is more focused on the beginner snowboarder. If you're beginning, stick in the 149 to 139 range if your feet will fit on the board. You don't want to get toe drag. That is one thing that you have to consider when riding. Okay, so if you're a woman, man, younger, you're looking at between a 149 and a 139 on being on the small end. But the board is more manageable if it's smaller, right? Getting up, flipping over. If you have to flip over to get onto your toe edge to get up, if you can't do the sit-up style, a 139 is going to be easier. And I've actually ridden this 139 being 6'3", 220 pounds, right? So yeah, did I drag toes? Yes, I did because I have a 13 size boot. But that being said, 139 I like for younger riders, smaller, you know, depending on how much you weigh. If you're under 150 pounds, 149 is also a good board, but you know, you want to stick in those two ranges. All right, so let's talk about men. All right, so we've got, I did have a Gleason wide. I did do an unboxing of it. I will do a review of it. I did send it back because it was too wide. So that being said, I have a 151 Arbor Draft. I have a 154 Signal Park and an old Burton Baron, right? I did have a Burton Name Dropper. I did sell that one, right? So for men, depending on your type of riding, if you want to be in a park, then you're obviously going to want a shorter board. And there's nothing that fits in this. And this is what I talked about. I'm 220 pounds. It says I should ride a 160 centimeter board. I can't spin that. And you can see my videos, me riding the 151. I did have a little bit of boot drag. I kind of fixed that by altering my bindings. I ride between the Signal. I've got a Gleason on the way. But if you're gonna ride park and you're gonna do spin and you're gonna do that, I recommend anywhere between a 151 and a 154. For me, that's what's worked well for me. If you're gonna do obviously carving and powder, you wanna go to a more, anywhere from a 157 to 165, right? Go with the weight charts on those, right? But for me, I didn't fit in into those. So my opinion on it is go to a demo day, try a board, or if you have money, buy them. Gleason was very good to return the 154 wide for me because it was just too wide. I had an extra inch on both sides, so I wanted to go to a 154 narrow. That's going to be between my 151 and my 154 Signal Park. So that being said, try different boards. If they've got demo days, you know, but I believe shorter is better if you're trying to learn anything. If you're just trying to carve in powder, there's powder boards out there. There's a lot of videos about which powder board you should get. I don't have the ability to go out west to powder until I do that. Watch the other videos out there. Once I get out there and experience it, I'll do a video on that. So to wrap this up, we also at the end of this, we will put what size bindings you should get, or not bindings, but your bindings, angles, and that for a beginner. But back to this whole thing, if you're starting at 125, 130 for a beginner kid, or even down to 100 if that's comfortable, you can buy them used. I did a video, I'll add that one too, about I went to the house and they've got $79 snowboards, $59 snowboards. They're not the best snowboards. I'm not going to say that they're great snowboards or anything like that. They're just a starter snowboard. And I mean, when you're looking at $100 for the board, $150 for the bindings, and $150 for boots, it can add up real quick, right? I mean, this board right here is a $400 board. These are $250 bindings on this leopard skin Burton ETS binding. So money can add up quick on these, but when you're just starting, go smaller. If you want to learn park, I recommend, no matter what size you are, go try a 151 or a 154 or 153. I've seen some people ride a 149 for park. That being said, you know, it's all up to you and how you feel. If you think about how much weight there is spinning a bigger board, you know, if you were to spin this one versus this one, there's obviously going to be less spin weight when it comes to park. So wrap this up. Stay tuned to or click on our other videos. Also subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Comment below. I'll respond as soon as I can if you have any questions or comments. Like I said, try out the demo days. They have them at each mountain. You can go try the new step-on bindings from Burton. Those look exciting. I haven't tried them yet. Otherwise, you know, try it out first if you can on a demo day. If not, buy what you can. Try it out at home on your carpet. If you don't like the way it feels, return it and buy a different size, whatnot. But I always recommend, if you're doing just groomers and park, smaller boards, or learning, smaller boards are better. If you're going to go into, you know, powder or carving, you're obviously going to be in a 157 or 156 plus range. But don't, if you're a bigger male like me, don't be so afraid to try a smaller board. Check out our video on the boot drag that we had and how we experienced it. And the boards are actually wider. For a 13 boot right now, you're looking at about a 10.5 inch board will work, depending on what your angles are of your toes, how far your binding's out. If you're 15 and 15 or even further, I've almost tested out a 27 positive on my front angle. But as far as the length of the snowboard, you definitely want to test it out, try it out. For kids, always shorter works. Beginners and, you know, beginners and different. Don't always go by those chart sizes. I know they're supposed to be great and perfect and everything like that, but I have found I can ride a 151 and have more fun on it than what it recommends for me riding of a 154 or 160, you know, just because I like the way the board flexes and the way it works. So also don't always, you don't have to go after the main brands. Burton, they build quality stuff. There's no question that it's quality. It doesn't typically break or have problems. It holds up, but That being said, I have found with Arbor and Gleason and Signal that I get a different ride feel with those boards. So don't be afraid to try different companies that are not brand name. So like I said, subscribe to our channel, comment down. So stay tuned for more videos from us. Otherwise, check out the 2 videos on binding size and boot drag on the wide snowboard. All right, till next time, thanks.